Thank you. Sorry to interrupt.
No. That's a good idea. So, Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Om Sri Krishna Paramatmane Namaha. So, I want to congratulate all of you for going through this journey. And we're trying to learn a little bit about what you're studying, right? What you're learning about the Bhagavad Gita, just to make some sense out of it and to learn briefly, at least, some meaning out of it, right? So we talked about the Arjuna Vishada Yoga and then also the Sankhya Yoga, that is about the whole summary of the Bhagavad Gita. And then in chapter 3 to 5, okay, chapters 3 to 5, Bhagavan talks about the Karma Yoga mainly, okay? And chapter 6 is about the meditation. It's all about how to do meditation and all that. So like I told you, first 6 chapters are related to the Karma Yoga. And then next 6 chapters or middle 6 chapters are about the Bhakti. That means devotion. And the last 6 chapters is called Gnana Shatka, Gnana Yoga. But today we will focus on the 3rd, 4th, and 5th chapters. I know the time is very limited, but we will try our best to learn the basics of it. And if anybody is interested, I can teach you later. Okay, you can call me or you can talk to your teachers about it. So basically, I'm going to summarize you what Bhagavan taught in the 3rd and 4th and 5th chapters. First, what is it mainly? Okay, the chapter 3, if you take it, so it's called Karma Yoga, right? And then there are like 43 verses or whatever. And then this is the outline of that 3rd chapter. He talks about 2 kinds of lifestyles. I'll explain you what they are and what exactly Karma Yoga means. Okay? Person who understands the Karma Yoga, how they conduct themselves. Okay? And then he summarizes the whole thing. And then in the later parts of this chapter, he talks about why we need to do Karma Yoga. Okay? And then while we're doing the Karma Yoga, what are the problems we face in our life? So that is the whole essence of the 3rd chapter. And then let's learn about the karmas. Okay? Because this is very important. You know why it is important? Because every day we go through difficulties in our life. We enjoy things, right? And pain and pleasure, we go through that every day. So where is that coming from? Why certain people experience certain difficulties in life, right? Or certain people are born with some problems. Certain people experience the lot of pleasures. They're born into a very good family like we all do. Some people are not fortunate. They're born into very, very poor families, right? Like that, this karma will determine how you're going to be born next life or how you are going to be in this life itself. Okay? So karma means, first let's see what is karma means. So karma means it's an action. Okay? Karma means it's just an action. The way you conduct yourself, even breathing, talking, okay? Whatever you're doing is a karma. Okay? But what we are going to learn is that how many types of karmas are there, because it's important to know. Whatever we're doing right now, okay, just remember the three names: Agami karma, Prarabdha karma, Sanchita karma. Okay, these are the only three kinds of karmas we have. Okay, whatever we are doing now, that will give you some result. There is a consequence. Say, if you are eating something, what it does do, it kind of fulfills your appetite. So if you are hungry, that fulfills the hunger, right? That's the consequence of eating. So like that, whatever you're doing, it has a result immediately, or it's going to be later on, this life or later life. So whatever you're doing now is called agami karma. Prarabdha karma means whatever you did in the past lives, it becomes mature enough that you were born with certain parents, certain brothers and sisters, right? And then certain communities you live in. So your prarabdha karma will decide how you're going to be, okay? How your life is going to be, and what you're going to study, what you're going to, who you're going to marry, okay? What kind of children you're going to have. All this is what kind of diseases you're going to get. All this is because of the prarabdha karma. That means whatever we did in the past lives, they become mature enough so that we have to go through their consequences. That is called prarabdha karma. What is sanchita karma means? Sanchita karma means, like I was telling you, agami karma, whatever you're doing now, or whatever you did in the past lives, which is not mature enough to be in this life, will be in a, like a sack, okay? And it is stored somewhere. That storage is called sanchita karma. Okay, remember that. Agami karma means whatever we're doing now. Okay, prarabdha karma means whatever we have to experience now. That is prarabdha karma. Sanchita karma means whatever we store. Okay, remember it like that. So why we need to know these karmas? Okay, because whatever we're doing is going to influence our life in the future. Whatever we did is influencing our future now, right? And then to be happy in our lives, we need to understand the karma. And then if some people say they want to realize God, they want to understand God, to understand God also, we need to learn karma yoga. Okay. So, but anyhow, in the chapter 3, he talks about there are two kinds of things. Lokesmin vividanishta pura prokta mayanagha. Okay, Gnana Yogena Sankhyanam Karma Yogena Yogina. He talks about that in the beginning of the 3rd chapter. So what he's saying is that people, to achieve, to realize God, to be happy in your life, you need to understand what you're doing. In the same way, to realize God, you need to understand what you are doing. That means you have to learn why you are doing those kind of things. What are the consequences about it? Without a knowing and without understanding, if you do it, it's not good. That is called gnana. You're learning knowledge. Okay. Without understanding what you're doing, it's not going to be good. In the same way, whatever you're doing, karma yoga means you have to do it without expecting results immediately like that. Okay. That means you will get the results, but you don't want to worry about the result and do the karma. Okay. That's what we'll talk about that later. So I told you about the two lifestyles, right? So I told you about what is karma means. It's just an action. And even our thinking is also action. Okay. Thinking is also, sometimes we think bad about other people, right? Or we think good about other people. And that's also a karma. So we have to be careful not to think bad about other people. Okay. So I'm choosing only the things that you need to learn. Okay. And if we talk in deep, then we can understand all the other things. So what is law of karma means? Why we need to learn karma yoga? Because we do good things and we do bad things, right? If we do good things, it's called punya. If we do bad things, we get papa. That means bad result, good result. Okay. If we get the good results, good things happen to us, right? So that means doing good things is important. So every action that we do, it has a consequence. We have to go through the results of it. So we need to understand good karma versus bad karma. Okay. So that's one thing. And what happens when we understand the law of karma? Because good deeds and bad deeds will give us good results and bad results, we said, right? So, but understanding law of karma means we can understand why we are born certain way. Okay. Why certain people are poor, why certain people are rich. Okay. Why certain people have good parents, why certain people don't have good parents, or some people don't even have parents. Okay, like that. It explains the disparities in our life. Karma is karma siddhanta. That means law of karma. So also, whenever we go through the difficulties in our life, we understand that this is the result of my bad doing in the past. Okay. That's why I'm experiencing this. It's not because of other people causing the problem to me. Okay. So when you understand that, your sorrow won't be that bad. Okay. And then it also helps you to have good faith in God. Okay. Because you you kind of surrender all the doings that you're doing, all the karmas and actions to God, right? When you surrender to God, then the effect of the karma will be minimized. It's not going to be as bad as when you feel that you are doing yourself. So that's how the karma helps us to keep faith in God. Okay. And then we're taking a responsibility for our future. Okay. If you study hard, you will get good marks in your good grades in your exams, right? In the same way, when we do good things, when we think about good things definitely will happen to us. So that's the importance of the karma siddhanta. That means karma, law of karma. And then it also helps us to lead a good life. Okay. That's why it's important. So we talked about all these benefits. And then so we understand the karmas. What is karma yoga means? Okay. Law of karma, we understand karma siddhanta. What is karma yoga means? We learned about the agami karmas, sanchita karmas, and prarabdha karmas. But now, what is karma yoga means? The difference between karma is action. Karma yoga means when you do the actions without worrying about the results of it, and then also you are doing unselfishly. Okay. When you do, it's called nishkama. Okay. Sakama means with an expectation. When you don't expect and then study good, okay, when you don't worry about the what's going to happen in the future, but you do the best you can, whatever you have to do, that is called karma yoga. Okay. Or another way is that if you surrender all your actions to God, okay, that's called Iswara Arpana Buddhi, surrendering to God. And then whatever God gives us is called Iswara Prasada Buddhi. That is, okay, we offer Naivedyam to God, right? And then after offering the Naivedya to God, we take it as Prasada. In the same way, whatever we're doing, when you think about God first and do it, then the good results will come out of it, or if any bad result was going to come out of it, it will help us to face it with a strong mind. Okay? That's what the use of the karma yoga. So by doing the karma yoga, we develop very good like virtues in our life. We we will deal with the good values. We'll be truthful, compassionate. We will be humble. Okay? And we'll live with morals in our life. So that's why it's important to learn karma yoga. So that is briefly what is, and then whatever you're doing, it's important how you feel about it. Okay? Like say, for example, I mean, you're doing some action that you want to help somebody, but do with a good heart. When you don't do with good heart, even though you're donating money, you are doing a lot of good things, it's not going to help us. So the purity in our heart, purity in our mind is very important. So those are very important with karma yoga. Okay. So, and then I told you why we need to practice the karma yoga, because we develop good virtues and all those things. Okay. So here there are 5 factors that a karma yogi, people who are following karma yoga, follow these rules. And he's talking about that in the one of these slokas verses there. You can see that. Okay. Mai sarvani karmani. If you remember that sloka, he's talking about that. So what is that he's trying to teach us there? Mainly higher goal is important. If whatever you're doing, spiritual goal, okay, is very important for us. Higher goal in our life. Okay, when we want to become a doctor, when we want to become an engineer, why we becoming that? Okay, when we raise our kids, why are we raising? We just want them to have good money, good earning, those kind of things? No, not really. We want them to be a good person, because without being a good person, they can't be happy in their lives. Okay, so that's what is important as a parent for us. That is the factor. Spiritual goal means whatever you're doing, there is a higher cause for everything. We need to understand that. Okay. And then I told you, Iswara Arpana Buddhi. We need to surrender all our actions to God. We have to think about God. Okay. And then when Nirashi, be prepared to face the future. That is called Iswara Prasada Buddhi. Okay. And then I told you humility, humbleness, all those things. And Vigata Jwaraha, that means whatever happens is positive or negative, I'm going to face it really strongly. Okay? I'm going to learn from it. Balance in your mind is that's what is important for a karma yogi. Okay? So karma yoga, when you're doing it, you remember this. You have to do it properly, whatever you're doing, and with a proper attitude. Okay? Those two are very important. And then to summarize, Iswara Arpana Buddhi, Iswara Prasada Buddhi. That means whatever God gives you, you accept it. Whatever you're doing, you surrender to God. Okay? To the higher cause. So those are the important things that we have to learn. And then depending on what we do, we take a reincarnation. If we do good karmas, we get a good life. If we do bad karmas, we get like a worse lives, we'll be born as animals, we'll be born as the mosquitoes, we'll be born like that. Okay. And then if we do good karmas, we'll be born as a human again, or we'll go to the higher, like a Swargaloka, they call heaven. Okay. So, but if we do mixed karmas, we do papa and punya both, that's why we came to the Manushya, that means human life. Okay, that's what the karma and reincarnation. If you have any other questions, I'll answer that later. Okay, so he's talking about maintaining the balance in our lives. Okay, equilibrium. When you're doing the karmas, you need to think properly. I was telling you, proper attitude is very important. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm moving very fast because I want to cover all the chapters. I want you to get the concept of karma yoga. Okay, so what are types of the karmas here? We do nishkama karmas. That means when whatever we do we do unselfishly for the benefit of other people without expecting the results of it. Okay, whatever comes along, we accept that. And then sakama means we pray to God with a certain wish. That is called sakama karma. Is it bad? No, it's not bad. You can do that. Okay. But if you do nishkama karma, that means without expecting anything from God, you just pray to God, then whatever you need in your life, God will take care of. But if you ask only certain things, He will only do that thing only if you are eligible to get it. But if you believe in God, if you surrender to God, He will take care of whatever is best for us. Okay. So that's the beauty of. And then nishiddha karmas. That means we should not be doing certain things. Whatever we are not supposed to do, those are nishiddha karmas. And then we do to balance our life. For example, when we eat food, how the food is coming to us, right? How the food is coming to us. Because somebody has to sow the seeds first, right? And then they have to plow the land. While they're doing all these things, preparing the food and all that, we kill so many mosquitoes, so many organisms, right? Then that bad karma is there. That's why before we eat, we read certain verses in the fourth chapter or so. We kind of do certain yagnas, fourth chapter they call. I'll tell them brief, okay? These Pancha Mahayagnas that we call. But Lord Krishna talks about 12 yagnas, okay, in the fourth chapter. What are those four yagna? I mean, 12 yagnas he's talking about? Just briefly, I'll show it to you. When you're reading those chapters, verse 25 onwards in fourth chapter, okay? Daiva yagna. That means we need to worship God every day. At least after you take a shower in the morning or anytime you do, it's good to just think about God. And then before you eat also, it's not a bad idea. It's a good idea to think about God. Okay. And then Brahma Yagna, Indriya Nigraha. I mean, there are so many yagnas there, controlling yourself. Okay. I'm just going to summarize it instead of going through all of them. So then you need to understand your mind. Whatever we see, we want that in our life. So we need to control that. That's also yagna he talks about. Okay. So you're controlling your senses. Okay. That's also important. And then charity is important. Whatever we have, we need to donate. We need to, it's not just donating the money, it's donating our service, donating anything. Okay. Our advice to other people. Anything you give is like a charity. That's very important. And then you need to do some pujas, vratas, and all those kind of things. And then meditation, doing all those things are very important. Okay. And then you have to study the scriptures. Like that's what you're doing now. You are doing yajna already by studying Bhagavad Gita. Okay. And then some people like to do yoga, right? That is also yajna because you're serving your body, you're taking care of your body because there is God inside us. Okay. There are so many cells inside us. You want to keep your body healthy. You don't want to eat whatever you want to eat. You don't want to abuse your body. Okay. You don't want to eat too much of anything. Okay. We love to drink a lot of sodas. We abuse our body by drinking a lot of sodas. So we want to be careful about those things. Okay. Yes. Bandhavi is saying her mom, right? So like that, you have to breathe properly. Okay. You need to breathe properly. That means how do you breathe properly? You can do pranayama. If you can't do pranayama, you have to exercise. If you exercise, then you're breathing really good, right? You get enough oxygen. That's a good thing. So like that, you have to, all these yagnas, he talks about it in the 4th chapter. Okay. And then how do you, there are 4 angles to do karma yoga. Okay. One is like you believe in God, you surrender to God. If you can do everything that you do, and whatever comes along, you take it as God's gift. Okay. And then karma yoga as worship also. Okay. Where you understand whatever you're doing, actions, you do with virtuousness. Okay. With good intent, all those kind of things. If you do that way, you whatever you are supposed to do without getting attached to it, that is called as a worship. Your karma, you are worshiping your karma. Okay. And then the other way to look at it is doing the karma yoga to purify yourself. Okay. You are purifying yourself. And then the karma yoga is dharma. That means you are following the righteousness and virtuosity in your life. That's how you do 4 angles. Whatever you choose, it's okay. If you believe in God, you do that. If you are a good person, you do that way. Okay. Like whatever works for you, but follow the karma yoga. So I showed you those things before. So what are the obstacles when we want to do good karmas and follow the karma yoga? What bothers us? Why we cannot do it? Okay. If we want to really study really good for our grades, why we can't do it? That's also here. Okay. That's why it's important. So sometimes we are so like egoistic, right? It's all about me. When you think about selfishly all the time, that selfishness will be an obstacle for us. And there is greed. That means you want to get more kind of thing. And then we are not humble. Okay. We hate people. We hate things. We are jealous. We have jealousy like that. Okay. We have to be careful. Those are the obstacles. And then always want to know what's going to happen. That's also an obstacle that you cannot perform really well. If you keep thinking about, oh, what's going to happen, what's going to happen, then you cannot do what you're doing at that time. If you want to put your 100% there, you want to do it, you focus on what you're doing, not about the result at that time. Okay, the result will automatically come. That's also an obstacle for us. Sometimes we do things to get name. We want to be recognized. We want to get fame, appreciation. Okay. We just don't do it. We want to be appreciated. I want to be number one. I want people to look at me. Okay. That's also an obstacle for us because it kind of takes out your performance from that. So we sometimes we are fearful. We shouldn't be fearful. Okay. And we need to be loving, caring, that kind of thing. Okay. And then we need to adapt to the bad situations also. If something goes wrong, if we can't just give up, okay? If we give up, that's not karma yoga. We need to be persistent. We need to continue what we're doing, okay? That's very important. And then you want to do it for welfare of other people, then you get a success. If you don't do it for everybody else, you don't think for a bigger cause, then it's an obstacle. And then leading a simple life is also important. If you complicate your life, you cannot be a karma yogi that easily. Okay. So to to be a karma yogi, you want to be happy, You need to control your senses. Okay, what are the senses? Whatever you see with your eyes, whatever you hear with your ears. Okay, so those things, what you're watching is important. Say if you're focusing on your studies, if you want to play video games, if you want to watch TV, cartoons, and all that, it's going to affect your studies, right? That is not a karma yogi. If you focus, you need to know how much you can watch TV, how much you can do things. That is very important. Okay, those are the qualifications. But also you need to maintain good health. You need to eat right. You need to take care of your body is very important. Okay, so I think I told you about all these things. See, here we want to understand a little bit about God also. Okay, well, who is God? Okay, we heard about Lord Krishna coming as a reincarnation, right? A Lord. He took an avatara to come. Why God comes to earth? Okay, because all of us, we did so many karmas together, right? When we do karmas together, as a consequence, an earthquake can come, or good things can happen in our life, or the hurricanes will come, right? For like a bad things can happen nature wise, or sometimes bad people are born in the world, and then they want to cause problems to other people, right? So when those things happen, God comes as an incarnation. He comes there. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyudhanam adharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham. In the fourth chapter, he talks about that. That means whenever I need to come to take care of this world, I'll be there. Okay? That's what he's talking about there. Not only that, he wants to protect the virtuous people and then take care of the bad in the society. Okay? And also, in us also, sometimes we need scriptures, like you're learning Bhagavad Gita now, in the form of Appaji. When you look at Appaji, he is also God. Okay? God came as him. That's why he's teaching you guys, he's asking you to learn about Bhagavad Gita. Okay? Because through him, God is helping us. In the same way, paritranaya sadhunam, vinasaya cha dushkritam, dharma samsthapanardaya, sambhavami yuge yuge. He comes all the time in any form, okay, to help us. Some people advise us sometimes when we are in difficulty. God works through them to help us. In the same way, if you are helping somebody, God works through you to help other people. So that is called avatara. Lord Krishna is avatara. He came. Okay. So, like that, Lord Vishnu, we talk about Dasyavataras. When you learn about Dasyavataras, when we go to our temple, Dasyavatara temple, also, we depict all the 10 avatars there. So, it's important to understand God. When Lord Krishna came, a lot of people didn't understand him, that he's really God. In the same way, God works among us. We need to understand the God's qualities in people. Okay? So let me go through the. I'm trying to find the things for you guys. In the chapter 5, again, he summarizes the things for us, like whatever we learned in the third and fourth chapters. He just a little bit summarizes and how to push us a little bit higher level. He talks about that. Okay. So basically, this is what I want you to look in a nutshell. Chapter 3, what is it teaching us? Chapter 4, what is it teaching us? And 5. Okay. This slide is very important. Look, okay. I want you to take this home with you. Remember this really well. Okay. Chapter 3 is teaching us Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga, how to do selfless action. And when you're doing it, not worrying about the results. Okay. Or you offer everything to God. Okay. That's what it's teaching us. Don't worry about things you're doing, just do it. Okay. The result will automatically come. So that is the chapter 3 that's teaching us. Chapter 4, even though we're doing this karma yoga, but we don't understand completely how to do it. Okay. Chapter 4, when you read it next time, it will teach us how to do the karma yoga. Like I told you about the 12 yagnas, right? He showed you in the 4th chapter how to do it. And then also in the 4th chapter, he will teach you. Somebody need to teach us, right? To do all these good things. So that's why we need a guru, the teacher. That teacher is also very important. He teaches us that in the 4th chapter. So to do perfectly whatever we learn in the as the karma yoga and how to do it, he shows us in the chapter 4. Okay, got it? And then how to do it? You have to perform by offering it to God and accepting whatever comes along. Okay, so that is chapter 4. And what is the chapter 5? He's teaching us. I know it is difficult to surrender to God completely. Okay, he's like giving us like spoon feeding in the chapter 5 again, because he understands we are human. It's difficult for us to do these things. So that's why he's teaching us how to do that selfless action again. Okay, how to surrender to God. Okay, he told us that chapter 4 how to do the actions, but here he's teaching you how to surrender all these things and how a karma yogi does things the best way. Okay, so how they conduct themselves, that means they don't believe that they are doing it. If you are a devotional person, you feel that it's all God's grace. Because of God, I'm able to do these things. Right? We say that, we learn to say that. Or if you are a karma yogi, karma based, then you think that this is all happening because of my past karmas, either good or bad. So I need to do better. Okay. Every time you learn from the bad things also, the unpleasant things in our lives. And then also in chapter 5, he teaches us when we do bad karmas or good karmas, we have certain impressions from it, right? Say we eat something, we like the taste of it. That taste stays with us. That is called impression. Okay. When we suffer through some bad things, there is an impression made and we try to avoid that next time. Or when we do good things, there is a good impression. There is happiness. There is an impression there also. So he teaches us how not to accumulate those impressions in the chapter 5. Okay. Why it is important to not have these impressions. Okay. Because it determines how we're going to be in the next life. Like, for example, when you see certain kids when they are born, when they're very young, they have certain qualities that you never taught them as parents. They behave like they already know about it, right? Certain child prodigies we see. Where did they learn music? Where did they learn those kind of things? Those are all the impressions from past lives. They exhibit that as children themselves. Okay. So, like that, these impressions are very important. So, but why is he teaching us all these things through chapter 3rd, 4th, and 5th? Our goal as a human life is to attain moksha. That means salvation. That means we want to avoid to be born again. We don't want to be born again and again and again, go through these pleasures and pains. That is the goal of teaching in the Bhagavad Gita. So when we neutralize our karmas, what are the neutralizations? The karma yoga, the karmas the agami karmas that we do, and the sanchita karmas and prarabdha karmas. Okay, so these are very important. So how do we neutralize these three things? Because we want to be neutral and happy at the end. Agami karmas, that means the reactions that we are doing now, how to neutralize them? By offering it to God. Okay, when you offer whatever you're eating, whatever you're doing to God, then you will neutralize that result of it. Okay, or you will minimize the action from that. And then the prarabdha karmas. How to neutralize the prarabdha karmas? By bhakti yoga, by surrendering to God, by asking God, accepting whatever the result comes from it. Okay, accepting it as God's gift, either it is pleasure or pain. You neutralize the prarabdha karma. That means you gain the strength to face whatever good or bad happening to you. That is how you neutralize prarabdha karma. How do you neutralize the sanchita karma? Because we accumulated so many from other lives, right? So that one is only through the knowledge. When you gain the knowledge, that's why in the end, last 6 chapters, Bhagavan teaching us about the knowledge. Okay, to understand God, to understand you, how to overcome all these things. So that's how you neutralize the three karmas. So agami karmas, prarabdha karmas, sanchita karma. These three you need to remember. Okay. So he talks about like how you can be, it's called sannyasi, nitya sannyasi. That means when you do the actions, like I was telling you today, you need to be careful how you neutralize them by offering it to God. If you live like that, you are also like a sannyasi. Okay. Goal is the same, understanding that. So this is very important. Okay. When you guys reading 5th chapter, these are very, very important verses. After talking about this, we'll conclude this satsang. Okay. I know these are very funny to read too, right? If anybody wants to read this, 5, 8, and 9, please. Any of the kids? The Bandhavi, you want to read? Unmute yourself.
Okay.
Yeah, 5, 5th chapter, 8 and 9.
In fifth chapter, 8 and 9.
Yes.
नैव किञ्चित् करोमीति युक्तो मन्येत तत्त्ववित् पश्यन् शृण्वन् स्पृशन् जिघ्रन् अश्नन् गच्छन् स्वपन् श्वसन् प्रलपन् विसृजन् गृह्णन् उन्मिषन् निमिषन्नपि इन्द्रियाणीन्द्रियार्थेषु वर्तन्त इति धारयन्.
I mean, he told us to learn all the karma yoga, how to do how to be in your life in these 2 verses. Okay. So what is he saying? A person with a self-knowledge, that means person who understands this karma yoga, okay, how they conduct themselves, whether they're seeing anything, whether they're hearing anything, whether they're touching anything, smelling anything, eating, speaking, anything you are doing with your body, he's always thinking about this thing. Okay? This karma yoga. Okay? Thinking about God, thinking about the gnana, that's knowledge. Okay? So he's basically telling us that whatever you're doing in your life, it's very important that you learn these things and practice these things. Then you'll be all right. Okay? So remember this verse very good. Okay? This is very important. That means when you're doing those things, you're not attached to whatever you're doing. When you're thinking about everything about God, whatever you're doing, you're not attached to that. That means the impressions are not going to be there. That means the suffering will be less. That is called karma, real karma yoga. Okay. So what are the results of doing this way? He's telling us in the 5th chapter. Your mind becomes pure. Your mind becomes calm. Okay. And then whatever weakens you in your life, you become strong. Okay. And then you are very strengthened to do things spiritually also. And then your interest in learning scriptures will increase. And then you can see God. Okay. You can visualize God. You can do all kinds of things like that. Okay. That's the important thing. Okay. So in the end, I mean, he talks about we think sometimes that God is responsible for our things, right? Oh, God is doing everything. It's not just God doing it. Okay. If you do bad karmas, bad things will happen to you. If you do good things will happen to you. That's why we need to be careful. We can't blame God for doing these things. But what God can do is he will give you the strength to face those things. And he will minimize the effect of it if you pray to God. But you have to go through it. But sometimes when we have a small, like a bumper kind of thing, if somebody hit our bumper in the car, we worry about it. But God protected us by not having a bad accident. Okay. Sometimes we have to see good in a bad thing. Okay. That's what the karma yoga teaches us. Then, so we can't blame God for everything. Okay. We have to ask God for the strength to face it. So like that, I mean, let me see. So what we need is, this is very important here. Our attachment, when the reason why I suffer is because we are attached to things. It's not that he's not saying that you shouldn't enjoy things. You need to enjoy things, but you cannot say that I cannot live without it. Okay? Because at one point you may have it, you may not have it. But whenever you have it, you need to enjoy that. Okay? If you learn that, that attachment will get better. Okay? And then you need to be content based on what you did in the past. That's how much money you're going to get, that much health you're going to get. So you need to be content with that. If other people have better things than you can't worry about it because they did bad things or good things. That's how they got it. Okay. So the other thing we need is we need what is called the dispassion, vairagyam. That means whatever you're doing, you need to focus on that. You can't be distracted. Okay. Or whatever is important in your life, you need to focus on that. If you focus on everything else, that's not dispassion. Okay. So in spiritually, that means you want God only in your life, because whatever we earn, whatever we have, family and all that, we're going to leave here when we die. We're not going to take anything. So the only thing that comes with us are all our karmas. So that's why we want God in our life. Okay. So then it will be good. And then I'll conclude this by talking about this. By learning Karma Yoga, third, fourth, and fifth chapters, if you can see psychologically, you learn this, how to control your anger, emotions. First step, what you need to do is you need to control the actions that are you doing. You want to be smart about choosing what you say, choosing what you're doing. Okay, controlling the deeds is important because you want to face you have to face the consequences, right? Because of the bad deeds, you're not getting what you want. You are not eligible to get it. That comes as anger. So then next step is once you control your deeds, you learn to control them, you control what you say. Even though, okay, you don't want to do things with your hands and your body. You want to control that. And then control the words. Next step. Next step is even the thoughts that comes to you. You want to say something bad to other people. You're so angry, mad about it. Then you go to that level of thought control. Okay. Once you do that, then you are going through understanding. You learn to control your anger and emotions much better. Okay. First at the physical level. Okay. Then whatever you say at the speech level. And then also at the mental level, you control your anger. So you teach yourself at those three levels. And third, fourth, and fifth chapters, when you learn completely, when you read more about it in the future, you're going to learn to control your emotions much better. You become a karma yogi. Okay. So, and then in the end, to conclude the chapter, to control our emotions, to control our anger, to become a karma yogi, he teaches us to do dhyana, meditation. Okay. When you do meditation, then you control your emotions much better. Okay. So that's how the fifth chapter concludes. In the sixth chapter, he will teach you about meditation, how to do meditation, how you need to be, and all that. Sorry that I kind of crammed through all the slides very quickly, but the basic concept is what is karma means, what is karma yoga means. Karma means action. Karma yoga means doing the action without worrying about the results by surrendering to God, okay, and accepting the results as they are. Whatever comes after you do, accepting, learn to accept. That is called karma yoga. So you are clear about karma, karma yoga. Agami karmas means whatever you're doing now, either you enjoy it now or later. The prarabdha karma means whatever you did in the past became mature now. That's why you are going through whatever you are going through now. That is prarabdha. Sanchita karmas means whatever accumulated is sanchita karma. So the goal is to neutralize all these karmas. That's what he is trying to teach us. Okay. So that is called karma yoga. So I hope you got at least a little bit about it. And thank you.